we are a little later than normal. It's the second year in a row, and that's because certain information from the state was very late coming to us again this year. Hopefully by next year they'll have things more in order, and things will be provided a little bit earlier. We'll be back in the same schedule.
Very optimistic.
Yeah, very optimistic. But you know, there was an extended deadline, and we did file within that extended deadline. You know, the way I like to start my presentations every year is just to let you know how much cooperation we can get from the administration and all the employees of the district. You know, we have a number of auditors on site for a number of weeks. You know, that kind of coincides with everyone still having to do their job. So it's very, very important that we get cooperation. We always do. And everyone has a, you know, a very cooperative and you know, very excellent attitude about going through the audit. It's also important, you know, although we interface so much of our time with the business office, it is an audit of the entire district. So anyone that spends money or collects money, that encompasses our audit. So whether it's special education department, transportation, individual schools, all those different departments are encompassed in some way during our audit. One of the things that the district has done for a number of years is submit their financial statements for additional transparency and scrutiny to the International Association of School Business Officials. Congratulations to the district again. The district again received that award for the 24th straight year, so it's quite an accomplishment, so congratulations. You know, with that, we have issued an unmodified opinion on the district's financial statements. What that means is that the district's financial statements are presented in all the required applicable accounting pronouncements and requirements, so we didn't have any modifications. And what I would tell you is that, you know, the business office does a really excellent job of putting together the financial statements. So when you get your monthly board secretary reports, you can be assured that those are very high quality reports. You can make your financial decisions based on those reports. They really do an excellent job of putting the financial statements together monthly, as well as having support for all those amounts. You know, I don't think there's been a time where we've requested a voucher, we've requested support for a receipt, we've requested a contract where the district hasn't been able to provide, in every instance, supporting documentation for that. That's not inherent in every district, but it has been inherent with Manchester for a number of years. The district's financial position is, you're in a very good financial position. The general fund balance was $3,365,000 for the year. That was an increase of $351,000. Not all of that is unrestricted. The unrestricted portion of that is $1.5 million. And then when you dive into it, there's several other restrictions. There's a maintenance reserve aside for ongoing maintenance projects of $372,000. There's a capital reserve to take care of any capital needs the district has of $700,000. There's $300,000 that's being utilized within the 1920 budget as a funding source, and there was excess surplus. So the amount of fund balance that exceeds that unrestricted 2% maximum that you can have over and above any other restrictions, and that was $461,000, and that's now restricted to go into the 2021 budget. So it has to be dedicated towards that purpose. The capital projects, the leftover money from the referendum at this point is $407,000. That money could eventually become a source for debt service payments. If not, there's no, you know, unless there's another referendum type use for it, that the administration will look into. You know, the one thing that I'm really very excited and happy to report, the last few years I've come to the board and expressed something, you know, with the district's really has been in a very good financial position. The one area of concern I've had that I've mentioned the last 3 years is the regional day school. The regional day school for the last 3 years has had a deficit in its fund balance, and last year it had grown to be the largest at $749,000 in a deficit position. The district, administration and the board has really done an excellent job of, one, containing costs over its regional day school, and also implementing some strategies in which to enhance enrollment and enhance enhance enrollment at a younger age, to bring them in, and I think the fruits of those labors are shown. So this year, there's an increase in that position from the negative $749,000 by $1.2 million. So you're now in a positive fund balance position for the first time in 3 years of $590,000. That's really just excellent news. So, congratulations, for that and all the work that you guys have really spending a lot of time and focused on that. We do several tests of internal controls. We didn't find any material weaknesses or any single deficiencies. In addition to the financial statement audit, we also do a specific audit over federal and state programs. We've issued a modified opinion on compliance with those programs. No findings, and just really no findings in general that require corrective action. And really part of that is, when we come in to do the audit one time a year, but the communication that occurs really all throughout the year between our office and the business office is constant. So if there's a question or a concern, it's discussed all throughout the year, so there's no surprises during the audit. And that kind of open dialogue really minimizes findings. So it's very much appreciated on our end, and it creates a partnership to a certain extent during the year that we're called upon and we can kind of gain consensus. With that, if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
So there's no corrective actions, no findings, and everything's as fine as we can.
Correct.
Sounds good.
One thing I'll just add to, and like Dave said, this is a very intensive process. It's probably takes 4 or 5 weeks of field work. There's a lot of communication back and forth. There's a lot of documentation that gets prepared ahead of time, and Dave and his group are also very respectful of the fact that we are here doing our day-to-day jobs, and they do take that into consideration. They're very patient. Like, if we can't get something to them right away, we can get it to them a little bit later. So I do appreciate that. I do appreciate the professionalism from the firm. The other thing I just want to add, during this is 18-19 school year, this was definitely one of the more challenging years I would say the business office had. We lost one of our accounts payable people that passed away from cancer during the school year. Our payroll person relocated in the early spring, right before we had one of the largest retroactive salary adjustments to make after a settlement with our Teachers Association. So we had a brand new person come in that never did payroll before. We were shorthanded, and everybody kind of grouped together and picked up the slack a little bit, and we were able to get everything done, and obviously, like Dave said, get it done right. So, achieving the award is great, but it's definitely not on my award or finance department award. The audit encompasses everything in the district. It encompasses building principals, staff, custodians, facilities, transportation. Everybody's got a part in making sure that we're doing things the right way. So I just want to take the opportunity to thank the central office staff for the things that they had to do during this year to pick up some of the slack for some of the people that we lost, and also thank the building staff for the jobs that they do, because every year it seems like more and more regulation comes out. There's more and more things we have to do. They're adding new things to our plate, and every year our staff in the entire district seems to adapt to that. So I want to thank them. I also want to thank the board, and obviously this award, what this award represents is it validates our commitment to fiscal integrity and transparency. And anybody who picks up this financial statement, if they want to go through the full 150-page document, we'll get a pretty good sense of where we are financially. So I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Dave and thank the board. It was another good year, and so far, we were off to a good start this year, and I don't anticipate any deviation from what we've been doing. So